Hi, Timothy Carlson here. I love heavy metal and I love horror movies. And today we're going to look at a reissue of a film that's a little bit of both. Something that bombed at the box office, but certainly became a cult classic with headbangers like me. The movie we're looking at today is Trick or Treat from 1986. This movie's been given a limited edition 4K reissue courtesy of Synapse Films. It's actually available in 3 different cover art styles, and apparently it's limited to 6,666 issues of the film, which is certainly an appropriate number. I'm going to unbox this release, and I will share my opinions. I believe this is cover style A, but you got the nice shot of Sammy Kerr holding our young hero. Side of the box. Top's just plain. There's the bottom of the backing card. Underneath that's just plain too. Description of the film on the back of the backing card. Under that you have this pumpkin art there with the quote underneath. Let's see what we get inside this box. We do get a nice little fold open poster here. On this side we have the classic Fastway soundtrack album art. That looks very nice. And on this side we have the Sammy Kerr poster that our young hero has in the film hanging up in his bedroom. I love the way this looks. I might even get this framed and hung up on my YouTube wall. We then get a pretty thick booklet. Got some cool pictures from the film, some cool essays, a lot of interesting info in here for anyone that's a fan. Yeah, even got some clippings of the newspaper headlines there. Some info on the restoration of the film. Here is the actual release itself. There's that classic cover art, spine text, back cover. We do get a catalog in here for other releases from Synapse Films. We then get some pretty cool art cards as well. And these actually have art on both sides. And some of these actually have artwork from foreign releases of the film, so that's pretty cool. Then we get to the actual discs. And there are 3 discs in this package. This disc is a CD soundtrack from Fastway, the songs they recorded for the film. We then get the film on 4K Ultra High Def. And we get the film on a Blu-ray disc. There's also reversible artwork, so here's a look at the reversible artwork underneath all the discs and so forth. What are you afraid of? It's only rock and roll. Rock and roll will never die. In this 1980s cult favorite that stars Mark Price as Eddie Weinbauer, a teenage outcast who idolizes Sammy Kerr, a heavy metal superstar. After Sammy dies a violent death, his spirit returns to help Eddie get even with his high school tormentors. In doing so, Sammy begins to gain control over Eddie's life and brings him deeper into the world of the occult. When Eddie realizes that he's become the tool of Sammy's vengeance, he attempts to stop him, and the horrifying events that follow leave no one unscathed. Featuring special appearances by Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne, Trick or Treat marked the directorial debut of veteran actor Charles Martin Smith and features a legendary soundtrack by Fastway. Red Shirt Home Video and Synapse Films are proud to present this heavy metal horror classic in an all-new 4K restoration, presented in Dolby Vision and loaded with hours of supplemental material, including multiple commentary tracks and a feature-length video retrospective. This 3-disc set contains a 4K Ultra High Def Blu-ray, a Blu-ray, and a CD soundtrack album, and is limited to 6,666 copies. No false metal. Confession time. I know this movie has a legendary status with fans of hard rock and heavy metal, but this was actually my first time ever seeing Trick or Treat. And I have to say, this movie is painfully stupid, over the top, ridiculous, and I loved it for those very reasons. This movie, of course, stars Mark Price, probably best known for playing the character Skippy on the TV series Family Ties. And then you have just a great all-around supporting cast in the film. I mean, you get those guest appearances from Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. Very limited roles, but they're actually quite hilarious with what little screen time they have. Sammy Kerr, of course, is portrayed by the late, great Tony Fields, who was widely known for being a dancer and entertainer in his own right. Sadly, he died at a pretty young age in the 1990s, but he brings this rock star to life like no one else could. And, of course, back from the dead as well. There's a good supporting cast here, and of course we get a lot of just ridiculous, over-the-top sequences. I mean, the themes of being ostracized for being a heavy metal fan, being bullied in school, and of course wanting to get revenge on your tormentors. A lot of these are themes that have been explored in many, many films, but this one's certainly relatable with what it does. The movie almost kind of feels like a cross between Christine and This Is Spinal Tap. Whether that's a good or a bad thing will be entirely up to the viewer. Again, it was my first time watching Trick or Treat, and I have to say I had a lot of fun with this one. It, of course, was the directorial debut of Charles Martin Smith, formerly an actor who had appeared in movies like American Graffiti, and of course in later years would go on to direct the Disney film Air Bud, this being largely at the opposite end of the spectrum from that particular title. So how does Trick or Treat look? After years and years of not so great DVD releases, and the film just being very hard to find on any sort of modern home video format, this restoration looks absolutely gorgeous. This has clearly been put through the ringer, given the best possible remastering treatment, but you still have all the natural film grain intact, so it looks the way that it's supposed to look, while at the same time bringing out new levels of detail, color, and everything in between. That touch of Dolby Vision is really nice because there's a lot of darker scenes and scenes set at night, so you get deeper, darker black levels, shadow detail, and brighter brights and whites, vibrant colors. This is an absolutely beautiful looking transfer, and it's how every film from this era should look in its 4K Ultra High Def release. Synapse Films certainly does right by the movie in this release. And I'm happy to say there's plenty of bonus features as well. We get commentary tracks, and perhaps most notably, we get a feature-length making of documentary on the film, which interviews several members of the cast and crew. There's also a few other shorter featurettes as well, including some newer stuff, one of which being a Remembering Tony Fields featurette. And then we have some vintage GBK type stuff, and a gallery of trailers, TV spots, radio spots, and even an image gallery. So it's a pretty packed release, and I'm really happy to see what effort was taken to bring this film back from the dead, just like Sammy Kerr comes back from the dead in the film itself. Synapse Films has done a bang-up job with Trick or Treat, and again, this is a limited edition release. It is a little pricey, but if you're a fan of the movie, you'll absolutely want to get your hands on this one. Absolute highest recommendations. The film is silly and stupid, but in all the right ways. How about you? Are you a fan of Trick or Treat? Did you get this 4K release from Synapse Films yet? How do you think this one holds up all these years later? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure to listen to like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.